In a previous video, we analysed rainfall data, 104,000 odd rows, using Excel and the advanced filter. What we're now going to do is perform the same operation using a LibreOffice Base split database. I have some videos earlier on where I've spoken about split databases. Check the description notes below for links to those videos. Step one, if you've never created a split database before, is go to mediafire.net and download the split database wizard. I've already downloaded it here, so what I'm going to now do is launch it. I've created a folder for this database called rainfall. I've placed the split database into it, and I've placed an Excel file containing these 104,916 rows of data into it. What we can do is we can either open this Excel file using LibreOffice Calc or Microsoft Excel and then create a text file, CSV, from it. I'm going to do it with both just to show you how to do that, but let's first of all now create our split database. So I'm going to double click on the wizard that was downloaded earlier, and when we do that, the database opens and you get this dialog box. It's basically telling me that I can name the sub database of the split database anything I want, and you can just go with the default MyDB, which for simplicity I'm going to do now. And it's just telling me a new database has been created, and you can see the driver folder has been created, and so this is our database. So our split database has been created, but first of all we've got to do some work on the Excel file to make it ready to go into our LibreOffice Base database, and that means converting it to a text CSV file, which the LibreOffice Base database will then link to. Let's do that now. So first of all, I'm going to open the file in Excel. So here's the text file open in Excel. What we're going to do is we're going to save this as a CSV file. Given that LibreOffice Base will be connecting to it, I don't want complicated column names which are going to be difficult to type. So I'm just going to call rain rate just rate. I'm going to call this daily, then weekly, then monthly, then yearly, because we know what it stands for. Now let's, and I'm going to call this field simply ID. And what we're going to do now is we're going to save this as a text file. So when I click Save As, I can choose the data file type. Now in this instance, when we're linking to LibreOffice Base, it's going to want a CSV, and we're going to use the format UTF-8, and you can see it's available within Excel's dropdown. You also have a CSV comma delimited file which doesn't say UTF-8, just go with UTF-8, and I'm just going to call this 2019XL.csv, and let's make sure we've got it in the right place, rainfall. So as you can see, the message here is telling us that it's only saving the active sheet. That's fine, that's all I want, and done. Now if you don't happen to have Excel and you only have LibreOffice, well, let's do it in LibreOffice now. So next, File, Open. We'll open the Excel spreadsheet in LibreOffice Calc. Let's just change the column headers. Now we do File, Save As, and we choose CSV, and then we click, I'll just call this 2019 CSV Calc. Use text CSV format, and then it's suggesting Unicode UTF-8 again. And if you click the drop down, you see you've got a lot of other choices as well, but we're going to go with Unicode UTF-8. And it gives us the same warning, only the active sheet. So the next step of the process within Base is that we create a text table to link against this CSV file. So the way we do that is we click on Tools, SQL, to get our Sql command window up. Then I type create text table, table rain live, and I'm just going to put in a number of quotes to make this a lot easier to type. And I want ID, and its data type is going to be int, for integer, time, and its data type will be varchar20, rate, float, daily, data type will be float, weekly, data type again is float, which is equivalent to double, or in other words, it's not an integer, it allows decimal places, monthly, again data type float, yearly, and the data type again is float. And then we finish it off by closing the parentheses. And now we execute the SQL, and command successfully executed. So if we close the window, we can then, you can see that at the moment no table is showing within the database, but that's because we haven't refreshed it. Click View, Refresh Tables, and the table appears. And if we double click on the table, you will notice that there's no data here yet, and that's because the table needs to be linked or associated with the text file. So we can do that now. If I go to Tools, SQL, again, then I put set table, open quotes, table rain live, which is the one we've just created, and I've got to say source equals, and this is going to be the database table source. So set table source equals, and let's just double check the source name. It's that. I'm just going to copy it. Control A, Control C. Source equals open quotes, file name, semicolon, ignore first equals true, underscore first equals true, and encoding equals UTF-8 and close quotes. And if we execute that, it gives me unexpected token, and that's because we're not supposed to put an equals, it's just source space, and execute. Command successfully executed. So hit close. And now if I double click on table rain live, it will now be connected to this text file. And there you go. Now the next stage of this process is I want to isolate the year, month, day from the time, because what we want to do is we want for each day, we want the last or the latest time that a data point has been recorded. So what that means is we've got over 104,000 rows, but for the year-long data, but what we want is just 365 rows for the year, that being one data point, one record recorded for each day. And we get that by getting the last recorded record on every day, which is going to be something like 4 minutes to midnight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a static table with another field just for the day and another field that holds time. And then we can do an SQL query on that just to get one row per day being the day with the highest time. Let's create the table now. So here we go. I'm going to click Create Table in Design View, and let's build out this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lazy and I'm not going to put in the ID field initially. I'm going to let the system prompt me to put that in. So what I'm going to want is time, and that's going to be text varchar, and I'm going to take the rate, and that's going to be text varchar again, then daily, weekly, monthly and yearly, and I'm going to change these data types to double. And I also want YMD, which is going to be an integer, which is year, month, day, integer. And I'm also going to want new time, which is going to be time. And if I save this and close, table has been changed, yes, so it's going to be table rainfall, and yes, I'm going to want a primary key. And if I go into table rainfall now, you'll see it's created a primary key for me. If I right click on it and do edit, you'll see the primary key put against the field. So the next step that I want to do is I want to populate table rainfall from table rainfall live. So in order to do that, I click on Tools, SQL, get the SQL command window again, and I'm just going to paste in this SQL. And what it says is insert into table rainfall the field names, ID, time, rate, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and the data we want to insert, you get it from this select statement, which is select ID, time, year, rate, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly from table rainfall underscore live. Of course, the thing about doing multiple takes here is in order to keep it exciting for you guys, we sometimes make mistakes between takes. And in this instance, I've made two mistakes on the SQL. First of all, we're selecting from table rain live as opposed to rainfall live. So let's fix that first. So let's lose the fall out of the rainfall. And secondly, I had a typo. So I'm selecting from monthly. Yeah, monthly. It should be monthly, but I actually made the mistake and typoed it to monthly. So let's see now how things work. So if I do execute and command successfully executed. So that should mean that we now have these data records loaded into an actual base table as opposed to linking to the text file. Reason I'm doing that is for speed of execution when I'm processing this data. So let's double check it now. So I'm going to close the LibreOffice Base table and open it. And yes, we now have data inside the database in addition to having it linked in the text file. So we're going to get the year, month and day from the time column and put it into the YMD column, giving us a single day. Trouble with the time column is each of these records is different. We want to be able to isolate the day. So let's do that now. So Tools, SQL, paste in the SQL. So let me talk you through this. Update table rainfall, then set YMD, which is this column, equals to concat. Now I've nested a concat for concatenating. We use this to stick two fields together. The reason is I've got a concat nested here. Well, let me just take you through it from the inside. Concat substring time 74. So 74 is position 7 and then 4 characters is going to give us the year. Then I'm going to substring time 42. So that's going to give us the month. So the month is in position 4 going for 2 characters. The left 2 characters gives us the day. So in this instance it would be 31. The thing is, the documentation says concat can concatenate multiple elements together. However, in practice it will only concat 2 items together. So what I had to do first of all was concatenate these 2 items together, and then do a separate concat where I took the result of the first 2 concats and then concatenated it with time 2, which is the date. So documentation says multiple concatenations, reality says you can have 2 items concatenated. So let's just execute that now, and I love it when it pauses because it means it's working. I'm easily pleased. So if I just close this table and open it up again, you should see that the YMD column has been updated, and there you go. The YMD column has in fact been updated. Now it's time to populate the time into the new time column. This is because we want to get the 5 minute or 4 minute to midnight time, so we can isolate those 366 days from the 104,000 odd days. So let's do that now. Tools, SQL, I'm going to paste in the SQL again. So update table rainfall, set new time equals concat, and just to make it easier for you to read, concat substring time 12:15. So what we're going to be grabbing is we're grabbing these characters here. Because new time has a LibreOffice time format, for it to work we've also got to concat these 00 seconds into it. Otherwise the time format, it won't work. The time format is very precise as to what it wants. But this is how you do it, and it took me quite a while to find out how to do this. But concat substring your time, and you gotta add in the seconds as well, colon seconds. Let's execute that. I love it when a plan comes together. Close, and let's just close that. Do you want to save changes? No, I do not want to save changes, but I do want to see the new time. And so there we go. If I highlight this row, 49 minutes, and this is 1:34, so there's 1:34, and everything's got 0 seconds. So let's paste in some SQL. What I'm saying here is select year, month, day, which is that column there, and max new time, so the maximum time for any given day, and we're going to call the column time from table rainfall and group it by year, month, day, which means we're only going to get the maximum time for each of these days. Let's run this first and just see what we get. So there we go. You're getting, for each day, you're getting the maximum time, which happens to be happening at 23:59. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a join. So we're going to join this. We're going to now get all the columns from this table. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to join this table on itself. So what we're effectively going to say is, with this particular table here, only give me the rows that are in this particular query here. Sounds good? Now the way we're going to do that is we're going to put parentheses around this particular query. We're going to effectively make this query a virtual table, okay? And I'm going to call this table S. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say select r.star and wait for the R is going to be the other table. R is going to represent this big table on the right. Select r.star from this virtual table, which is S. Inner join table rainfall. and give me my quotes. And what are we joining table rainfall on? s.yearmonthday. So it's kind of like a lookup, again, like a VLOOKUP if you're familiar with that from Excel. s.ymd is equal to r.ymd, and s.time, again in quotes, is equal to r.newtime, and newtime has to be in quotes. And let us run this query, and fingers crossed. They say never do maths live or in front of people. Well, never do SQL queries live and in front of people, but it might just work. Still looking, still doing. The fact that it's taking so long is actually getting a bit worrying. Man, this is taking time, but it's got a lot of work to do. And there we go. It's retrieved 365 records. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to write these 365 records into another table that we can in turn re-export out of the database into a spreadsheet if you want it. Now, the beauty of this particular method is, besides the fact that you can write some simple macros to execute this SQL, the beauty of it is you have a system set up that has less moving parts than, shall we say, a VBA advanced filter to do this. So the trick is really to have a number of different ways to crack the same nut, as it were. Okay, so let's create the output table now. So I'm going to do Tools, SQL. I'm going to use the field names that I saved earlier. So create text table, and it's going to be table rain_out, and the fields are, I'm just going to copy and paste these in. What we're also going to want to need is YMD, and that's going to be an integer, and we also want new time, which should be wrapped in quotes, and that's going to be a time data type, and we close the parenthesis. Missed a quote here, and now let's click execute. And the command successfully executed. And if we do view refresh tables, table rain out exists. Now all that remains is to populate the table. Okay, so I'm going to populate the rain out table now. So first of all, before we do that, we need to switch it on basically. So I will do set table rain_out, and I'm going to say source equals rainout.csv semicolon encoding equals UTF-8 execute. And when I've executed that, we see that the table appears, but there's no data there yet. So now if I get the SQL we created earlier and I put it into here, Tools, SQL, and I paste it in, and then I execute, and we let it do its thing, have a little think for a while, and command successfully executed. So if I hit close on that and I double click on rain out, you'll see the data we've got. If I just go right down to the end, we now have 365 rows of data, but even more so if I close that and I click on rainout.csv, the text file, and I have to open it as read only in Excel, but we've created a text file that can be read by another program, be it Notepad, Calc, or Excel, or anything that can read CSV files. So if I open it, edit it with Notepad++, you can see that it is a comma separated text file. And that's it. We have converted rainfall data using LibreOffice Base. Thanks for watching.